What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. In today's video, I would like to take a look at the New York Jets offensive line after they cut Laken Tomlinson and talk about an underrated way that the New York Jets could go about fixing this offensive line. As a reminder, as I'm rocking the Talkin' Jets shirt, new episode drops tonight. Make sure to subscribe to the Talkin' Jets channel over there, but also make sure to get in on the NFL draft party. That's right, for the first round of the NFL draft. Myself, Ryan, and Green Bean will be broadcasting live from the main event on Long Island. Make sure to get your tickets now before they sell out. Get in on the fun and join us for what's going to be an awesome experience. As I mentioned, the New York Jets decided to cut Laken Tomlinson last night, which was 100% the right decision. I am happy that they made that decision. Yes, it creates a hole. Yes, it confirms that the New York Jets now need 3 new starters on this offensive line, but you should be able to find an upgrade with Laken Tomlinson's $8 million that you just created. So most people, though, when you look at this offensive line, a majority of people are questioning whether or not Alijah Vera-Tucker will play offensive tackle or offensive guard. And there's a legit debate, and I think you can make a strong case for either side. There's an argument to play him at tackle and a wise one, and then there's also a strong case to play him on the inside, either side of the line, by the way. Left, right, he's played on both sides and had success on both sides. What less people are talking about is the Joe Tippmann debate. Do you play Joe Tippmann at guard or center? I think what most people, again, not all, this has been talked about, but just not nearly at the same level as Alijah Vera-Tucker's position going into 2024. But what if you play Alijah Vera-Tucker at left guard and Joe Tippmann at right guard, and you use those two guys, your only 2 remaining starters on this offensive line, and play them on the interior at both guard positions? See, the Jets drafted Alijah Vera-Tucker back in 2021 to play left guard, and that's where he started every game in his rookie season. And he posted fine numbers for a rookie offensive lineman. He wasn't downright stellar, and it wasn't, oh my God, this guy is a day one all-pro. That's probably, that was unrealistic expectations, but he was absolutely solid. In the last 2 years, he bounced around the offensive line. He started games at right guard, then was forced to move to play left tackle and then right tackle in his sophomore season. And then last year, in his 3rd year in the league, it was right guard and right tackle before a season-ending injury. And he's coming off season-ending injuries in back-to-back seasons, which is really, really unfortunate. But trying to figure out, okay, what spot is Alijah Vera-Tucker going to play? And under this scenario, let's use AVT at left guard and Joe Tippmann at right guard, who, again, Joe Tippmann I thought was fine at both spots, but with his size, many think he would be better at guard anyway. So in this scenario, again, there's many ways the Jets can go about fixing the offensive line. In this scenario, we're going to use AVT and Joe Tippmann as the 2 guards. So with this being the case, the New York Jets would need a new center in 2024, right? Like, that's obvious. They would need a center, and I think a veteran option would be one that would make sense. So I'll give you 2 options for the New York Jets at center. We'll talk about both and which one I prefer. The first name is going to be a little bit more costly, and that's Lloyd Cushenberry. He's 26 years old, and he was a top 10 center this past year for the Denver Broncos, and he's widely considered one of the best pass blocking centers in the entire NFL. This past year, he allowed just 1 sack and 14 pressures on the entire season. Unfortunately, he knows Nathaniel Hackett well from his stop there in 2022, but Lloyd Cushenberry is entering free agency at the prime of his career at 26 years old. Now, like I mentioned, he's going to be costly. His projected contract, 4 years, $57.1 million, which is a $14.28 million AAV. That would make him one of the league's highest paid centers. Now, is he one of the league's best centers? Talking about, like, is he a top 5 center in the league? I would not go that far. I think he's in that next tier, somewhere between, I think you could put him somewhere between 8 to 12 pretty comfortably, but he would be getting paid like a top center in the league. That's just the reality of free agency sometimes. And if you want the best of the best in free agency, you have to pay them like they're the best, even if they're good above average starters being played like elite players. But that's why I think the second option is my more favorable one, and that's Tyler Biadasz, the 26-year-old center from the Dallas Cowboys. This past year, he allowed 3 sacks, 25 pressures. He has cut down on penalties a great deal over the last 2 years. It was something that he struggled with his first full year starting, which was his second season in the league. But in the last 2 years, he has gotten significantly better year over year at cutting down on penalties. Now, here's the thing with Tyler. He is a mid-tier starter, middle of the pack, average. He's not elite, but he's solid. And but he's average with upside is the point, because he's someone who's gotten better year over year, and he's kind of stuck in, if you want to put him somewhere between like the 13th and 16th or 17th best tackle, center. 0 for 3, 0 for 2, and then got it on the third try. Anyway, middle of the pack starting center, but he will come in significantly cheaper, and he has upside because of his football IQ. And granted, he's worked with some of the best guards in the NFL over there with the Dallas Cowboys, but his projected contract is 3 years, $21 million, so a $7 million AAV. So basically, your options in this scenario would be you're paying a top 10, albeit like one of the, we'll say 8 to 10 range, like one of the best centers in the sport at $14 million roughly a year, or paying someone in the middle of the pack like the 13th to 16th, half of that, $7 million AAV. My preference again would be going with Tyler Biadasz. I think that would be the better choice at that point. So, all right, interior of the offensive line's figured out. What do you do with tackles? So they are definitely going to have to sign an offensive tackle in this scenario, and I'll give you 2 names. The first is Mike Onwenu. He's 26 years old from the New England Patriots, and what I like about him is his flexibility on the offensive line. He's played right tackle and right guard and played both pretty well. This year ended up settling in at right tackle, allowed 3 sacks and 23 pressures. In my personal opinion, I think he's your best bang for your buck free agent tackle, because you're going to see guys, and by the way, I guess I should give you his projected contract, 4 years, $58 million, $14.5 million AAV. You're going to see guys like Jonah Williams, for instance, get more money than that. And I'm not convinced Jonah Williams is a better tackle. In fact, I know he's not. Jonah Williams is not very good. Trent Brown is also not very good at this point in his career. And those are 2 very popular names who are going to get paid big money in free agency that probably aren't worth it. Mike Onwenu is just entering his prime right now. And again, I like that he's flexible. Yes, he could start at right tackle, and that would be my plan. But if, God forbid, it wasn't working out, then guess what? You have the opportunity to kick him inside and have Alijah Vera-Tucker play right tackle, who played it at a high level. So you could be good that way. And again, I don't see that as an issue. I think this is your best bang for your buck tackle. I think he is absolutely in that same tier, if not better than the Jonah Williams of the world. And he's going to get paid probably a little bit less than both those guys. The other option is a big swing on the left side of the line. And I mean a big swing in it's high risk, potentially high reward. So, and that's Tyron Smith. He's 33 years old, Dallas Cowboy, once again, going back to the Dallas Cowboy route. When he's healthy, he is one of the best left tackles in the entire NFL. Here's the problem. He has missed multiple games every single year since 2016. I want to make this clear. Not my preference. I would much rather the Jets go the Onwenu route than taking the 1-year, $10 million flyer on Tyron Smith. Now, granted, you can get it's just a 1-year deal. You can get out of it, the whole thing. It's not going to cost you a lot. And when he plays, he's very, very good. But he's played 13 or less games every single year since 2016. So you're taking a massive gamble that he's going to stay healthy on one of the most injured offensive lines in all the sport. Again, I understand it. When he's healthy, he's one of the 5 best tackles in the sport. I'm not denying that, but you better have a good safety net, because he's guaranteed to miss you 3 games and could miss a hell of a lot more than that. And finally, you could then draft an offensive tackle at pick number 10. Your most likely options for the New York Jets at pick number 10 are Olu Fashanu and Talisi Fuaga. I like both those guys a lot and would be happy with either one of those guys. Now, Fashanu is the left tackle of the group. He is the better pass protector of the group. He needs to improve in the run game, and some believe that he is still raw, which is a little bit true, but I think he's the best pass blocking offensive tackle in this class. And if both guys are available, he would be my pick of the group because he's a better pass protector and he's your bona fide left tackle. As for Tulisi Fuaga, this is someone who is definitely going to start his career on the right side of the line. Maybe he makes a switch over to the left side eventually, but I think going to be a very good right tackle, is an absolute beast in the run game, and is good in pass protection. He's not elite. He's not great. He's solid in pass protection. So if you draft one of those two guys, and if you sign one of the two guys that I mentioned, here's what your offensive line could look like. I'll give you two potential combinations. One being Olufashanu, AVT, Tyler Biadasz, Joe Tippmann, and Mike Onwenu. That goes a long way to fixing your offensive line. Could that unit be a top 20 unit in the sport? Going from 32 all the way up to 1 is insanely unlikely. But all I'm asking is, can you be a top 20 unit in the sport? If so, I think that should be enough for Aaron Rodgers to have success. The other option, Smith, AVT, Biadasz, Tippmann, Fuaga. Both options very good. I like Fuaga a lot, as I mentioned. Tyron Smith scares me because of the injury, but a lot of people like that route, so I wanted to put it in here to show what it could look like. So, of those two lines, I think that goes a long way to fixing this unit. Again, you're not going to go from 32nd in the league, worse than the NFL, to one of the 5 best. That is just unfair, unrealistic expectations. But can you be from horrific to mediocre? Can you go from 32 up to the 19th best line in the league? If they do, and if they get the improved quarterback play, that's going to make a great deal of help on the offensive side of the ball. So let me know your thoughts on this plan down below in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you guys next time.